Hello, this is Ryan, filling in for David, and you're listening to The Forum on CHRW. Today we're talking with Toby and David, presidential candidates for the USC, and we're talking about some pressing issues. So to get this rolling again, on the topic of funding accountability and transparency, $800 per student is being paid into the USC, right? Mm-hmm. So, with this being said, is full transparency and accountability possible? Moreover, is this something that we should be concerned about?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's a big reason why Toby and I think the engagement's so low in the USC. You know what I mean? Like, we see that the engagement is low, and we feel like I feel like a big part of that is because we're not opening up what the USC really does. If students don't know what the USC does, why are they really going to care? Like, for example, executives get $30,000 a year to create new initiatives, but we don't disclose where that money is going. That's a fundamental problem, and that's something that me and Harry really want to address. If we are getting the opportunity to go into these positions, we want to make sure that students are aware where the money's going. You know what I mean? What we're doing with it. If it's not being used properly, tell us how to use it properly. Do you know what I mean? We want to start opening up these areas of conversation, because a lot of students aren't aware of this. A lot of students don't know that they paid $800 to the USC, and that's a problem too. So we really need to make sure that they're aware of where their money's going, and if it's not adding value for them, giving them the opportunity to say, hey, something's wrong here and you got to fix it.
Yeah, absolutely. David touched on it a little bit, but it's a big reason as to why students just don't feel like they're involved in any of this, because they just don't feel like they can keep their own student council accountable. During these campaign periods, everyone runs around and makes these different promises and says all these different things, and where are the bodies that are keeping the people in office in check? Because at the end of the day, we can increase.
That's the main body. You know what I mean? We got to give them the power.
We can increase voter turnout as much as we would like, but if all these voters come in rah, and we get 50-60% of voters, and then we go back to the same old thing where they don't feel asked and they know that the things that we said aren't being done, then we're going to lose them again.
Yeah.
And that's probably what, in my ideal situation at least, that's probably a nightmare, because then it takes another 3-4 years to try and do this again.
And that's why it's so important. Like, we have someone in these positions who are experienced. You know what I mean? Like, we need people to, who actually know what they're doing, who actually have that experience, because if we do have people going into these positions that don't have experience, we're going to see the same thing, nothing getting done. You know what I mean? And we don't want that. Students don't want that. I definitely don't want that. And that's why it's so important, with my council experience, Harry's Senate experience, these are big things, right? I mean, Harry being on the mental health strategic plan, me being on the strategic planning council, like, we see the flaws with how things are going, and we're ready to address those on day one, right? There's no waiting. But the thing is, people who aren't involved, they don't know what the problems are. They don't actually know really what's going on. So it's hard for me to, really understand if there's no experience there. How are they really going to make the impact that they want to, right? And if they didn't research a lot of their platform points or a lot of the ideas that they want to do, how can they really, be saying this to students, and how can students really trust those kinds of people? You know what I mean? So we really want to make sure we're putting in the research and that we're really knowing what we're doing.
See, I got to disagree with you there, because I think students know exactly what the issues are. I think that if you ask them, they'll tell you that.
I'm not disagreeing with
what
that.
What do you think we need to do a little differently? They'll tell you exactly what they think. If they say, what do you think of this decision we made? They will tell you exactly what you think, sometimes in colorful language. And I think it's just about giving them the opportunities to do these sorts of things. And regarding the experience point, we've had presidents and vice presidents with experience for the past who knows how many years, except we're still facing these same issues. And these are students that have been on council. They've been in these different positions. And at the end of the day, students still feel like they're not doing the job that they really want them to do. But the one thing
council actually. So
actually Eddie was a science counselor.
Not the year you ran.
But he was, and I think at the end of the day, the one thing that you need in order to be a great leader, the one thing that you need in order to see an organization go to what you want it to be is a desire to see a change. And you can learn the ins and outs of an organization if you're willing to put in the time. You can look into the bylaws and the policies that you really want to change and see how those changes come about. And you can learn these experiences, but I think the one thing that's been lacking is a desire to change and a motivation. And that's why when someone asks me, you're in third year, why didn't you wait another year? I said, why wait another year? I'm motivated and I'm ready and I want to do this right now. So why sit on my hands for another year and see what other people can do when I can jump into this race myself and see if I can change it?
But Toby, like, I gotta disagree with you though. Experience is so important. You're not gonna hire someone for a job who has no experience at doing that job. Do you know what I mean? The students can't wait any longer. You said it yourself. They can't wait. If they have someone who goes in there and they need a couple months to learn about everything, the ins and out, that's valuable time that you're wasting for students. And that's not right. We can't have that. We need people who are gonna go in day one, go, okay, we know the problems, we know how to solve them, let's do it. We need to start really showing results, because if we're not showing results to these students, they're not going to get engaged with the USC, right? If they're just seeing that things are running slowly, they're not going to get engaged, they're not going to care. And that's why me and Harry, we make sure that a lot of our platform points, the majority of them, we've done the work, we've done the research. So even if we, right now we're not in the positions, but when we get there, we're ready. We have a plan. We've talked to the appropriate people, and we're actually going to make the change, and we're going to make it quick, right? People who don't have experience or maybe didn't follow through with some of the points, they're not going to know really the plan that they need to really put those points into action for students. And that's why just experience is really, really important. You know what I mean? I understand, yeah, you can learn some things as you go through, absolutely, but students can't wait any longer. Like, you know that, I know that, and that's why we really need to be pushing now. And me and Harry, like, we know what to do, and we think students are going to be happy with that.
But I still think that one of the things that you're saying is problematic, because you're saying on day one you're ready to step in and you're ready to jump on top and you know what the issues are and you're ready to do this. But I keep on saying it and I'll say it again, students already know what the issues are. Trust me,
Yeah,
I've been here for 3 years. I have been here for 3 years and I know what the issues are. But that's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is the fact that the USC thinks they know better than the students, and that is the issue that has continued to happen. Students don't feel like they're being asked. Students don't feel like they're being consulted. And that's because these decisions are being made without them at the table. And so to say that you know exactly what the issues are and you know how to fix them, but because I'm an everyday student, I'm not ready to step in and do the job.
That's not it. We want to make sure, Toby, that we're like acting, we're taking what these students want. We're able to make changes quick. You know what I mean? It's nothing.
Absolutely. No, I'm not taking it as a personal attack by any means.
It's just like students have waited long enough for change. You know what I mean? Like, and we got to provide it, and they can't wait another year of nothing. They need something now. They need that they need hope. They need they see that me and Harry, we have these things that we can actually accomplish, and we're ready. You know what I mean? Like, we have these plans set out. It's not just points for us. This platform is a strategic plan for us. Each section has its own way of being introduced, and we've thought of that. We thought that through, so students don't need to wait anymore for change. It's going to come. And we have heard from students, right? I mean, our consultations, we talk to students as well, just like you. So we hear them as well. Plus, our positions gives us another kind of interesting opportunity to really take a really big insight on students, looking at different types of data and stuff like that. So again, I think it's important. I think the students, like you said, they're tired of nothing getting done. And Harry and I, we can do that. We can really get some stuff done.
And the thing is, I think that there's a lot of short-term fixes. There's a lot of things that are going to be that we can put in place now and that students will see the benefits of. But there's also long-term fixes that we got to start thinking about. If we really want to see this culture change doesn't happen in a year, and we have to start long-term planning. And so, yes, I understand that some of these points need to start happening now. And that's why we're putting in some of the points, to make sure that accountability increases, to make sure that we're transparent, to make sure that people feel like they can have this conversation. But at the same time, we got to start laying down building blocks and foundations and processes to make sure that the USC executives that follow will follow in those footsteps and understand the importance of these things that we're laying down.
And I agree, absolutely, yeah. And that's why I think that the experience is so important, right, to lay down that foundation, to actually know how to do it. All right.
Okay, so moving on to the topic of homecoming.
Ooh,
yeah.
That's a fun one.
Nice one to finish off on.
Yeah.
So I think
I think we're having a nice conversation here, Toby. I think we're both in alignment with what we want to do.
Yeah. So I mean, I think this one segues. I think it's a little nice segue into this one. So yeah, how would you guys have handled it, and what are your plans for next year?
So next year, the university has decided to go with that October date.
Yeah.
It's now official. It's in the books. And something that I think is important that a lot of students were upset about last year about that second date was there was no programming. It was called homecoming, but it didn't feel like homecoming. You woke up on Saturday morning and you're like, I got a bunch of exams and then I might go out later. It was just another Saturday night. And I really feel like if we're going to, since we are sticking with this date, we need to make sure that we're actually making it feel like homecoming and giving everybody a chance to bleed a little purple because it's our favorite day to do so. But looking back and being in that position of Western administration coming up to you and saying, this is what we want to do.
It's upsetting,
It is.
Yeah.
Because as much as people see homecoming as that day where we all get drunk on a big street and all party, I honestly think is one of the most beautiful things ever. I think that when you walk onto that street, you can say hello to any single person and they will be so happy to see you.
It's visually like, whoa.
Phenomenal. It's
the
insane.
photos, it's crazy, yeah.
And like, I remember I lived on Huron last year, and so I had to do something on campus pretty early in the morning, so I walked over to campus, and I was walking back around 11 or 12, and I wasn't wearing purple yet because I had some stuff to do, and someone goes, why aren't you wearing purple? I'm like, I'm going. He's like, you better, I'll see you later.
He probably took the shirt off their back and gave it to you, Wear this.
Honestly. And then I saw him later on the street, and he's like, oh my God, nice shirt. I like the purple. And honestly, like, I think there's a lot more to it than people are giving us credit for.
Yeah.
I think they need to understand that it's a day to show off our school spirit a little bit.
And you know what, too? Like, safety is a huge issue as well. Do you know what I mean? Okay, yes, we agree the date, yeah, I'm not happy with that. That's a great example of administration, putting their power over the USC and saying, this is what is happening, you know what I mean? And then we have, executives where, they didn't fight it, you know what I mean? Nothing was said. We need to bring the student voice back. The student voice is being silenced. We need to start amplifying that, you know what I mean? And it's really important that, we know the people to talk to do that. And the date, though, I mean, that's not going to be hard to change, right? I mean, it's going to be really, really hard to change now because they're already getting planned for next year.
Absolutely.
But you're right, Toby. We have to make sure that what we're doing, the students really love, and it's safe, though, too, right? We want to make sure student safety is always a big thing. The big concert on the hill was huge, remember?
Yeah, that was sweet. Dubs, the whole go on the hill. That was a great time.
And it was so attended. Do you know what I mean? That was a beautiful engagement piece, I think. And you're right. It was on the hill. Show, like you said, bleed purple, right? You know what I mean? Gives them that chance. And they have that beautiful Western scenery right there. And that's what we kind of want to go back to, like making sure that the students, whatever we put on for them, they actually take part in it and actually enjoy it.
Absolutely. And man, I just love that day. It's actually my favorite day of the year, and I wake up smiling because everyone's like, let's make pancakes, let's bake some bacon, and let's do whatever. And I couldn't agree more. Safety is of the utmost concern. Safety is something that a lot of people have issues with, and that's something that's led to the decisions that are currently being made. But again, it comes back to making sure that student voices are at the table, making sure that they're represented. Because homecoming is just one of the decisions that was made. That was one of the reasons why I ran. I felt a lack of representation. I understand that the USC needs a working relationship with the administration. That is of the utmost importance, because when that isn't there,
but you know what?
Everything gets
lost. Needs to be strong, though.
We can't keep on getting pushed back.
Yeah, no, go. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean?
When the administration challenges us, and they will continue to challenge us as students, we also need to be willing to challenge the administration.
Exactly. You know what we should talk about, too? A lot of students, like you said, had exams, right? So what happened was they had an exam, let's say, and then they just binge drank. You know what I mean? That's another health concern too, right? We're kind of putting exams on these days that are known for celebration, and that's not healthy as well. You know what I mean? So there's so many flaws, I think, that do need to be addressed, and we need to make sure that we're I don't know, looking at the schedule, making sure that students can actually enjoy this day and actually celebrate it. Because you're right, it's fun. You know what I mean?
It is.
For some students, probably maybe the most fun time of the year.
Exactly. And I think it's something that a lot of people look forward to.
Yeah.
I think it's something that Western is very well known for.
Yeah,
You have thousands of people coming into the city just for the homecoming. You have grads coming back in the city because they love homecoming, whether that's a grad from 40, 50 years ago. I remember walking through campus one day, and it was like a 60-year-old man just kind of walking through campus, and he was just staring at a building, and I was just like, hey, hi.
Yeah.
He was like, I had class in this building 30, 40 years ago, and I remember this teacher and this teacher and this teacher, and it's a nice experience not only for us, but it's also a nice experience for the grads. And one thing that I don't think there's enough of is a graduate-student relationship on such a great day to do it. Yeah. That is a huge chance to just sort of join these two bodies and let them have a conversation and see what can come of it, because I'm sure there's so much great that can come of it. I think it's something that's missing a little on that day.
And you know what? We go back to student voice, making sure that the students are actually happy with what's going on. But we need to provide the platforms to do that. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes, because during homecoming, right, it's hard because we really want to make sure that we're hearing the student voice before it actually happens, so we can plan something really remarkable. Do you know what I mean? Like, we want to make sure we're doing that. So putting those kind of, platforms in place, like we are suggesting like a feedback form where students throughout the summer, they can voice that opinion, right? They can voice it. So even when they're not here physically, they can still get their opinion heard, really making sure that we're building that connection, not just while they're here, but also while they're at home. And it's really important. I know, bringing something fun back, bringing it back onto the hill. You know what I mean? This is where it all began. On Western, it should stay at Western. You know what I mean? Not shipping it downtown, not bringing it to all different places. Really want to make sure we keep it here where it all began and where we can really, really party and have a good time with the beautiful Western scenery.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, like, I understand that the bars downtown use it as a cash cow, but I think that it's got to be about us as a community. It's a great day to celebrate us as a community, and we just got to find a way to engage as many students as possible to do that. And
so we're going to give the candidates the opportunity to discuss their platforms and really reach out to the public here and say what it is they want to say. So
I'd just like to start off by saying thank you to David and Ryan and to all the listeners on the radio. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Thank you for actually trying to educate yourselves a little bit. I think we talk a lot about voter turnout, but we also need to make sure that it's some educated voters. We need to make sure that they're informed, and taking the effort and making sure that you're going out and reading platforms and learning about each of the candidates is important. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun so far this past week. The campaign period has been a tiring one, but an exciting one. A lot of conversations, and I feel like I've talked to hundreds of students. And the best part is every student knows what they want, and it's crazy what they'll say once you ask them. And again, I just keep on going back to this point that over this past week, I've talked to that many students, and that's something that I want to continue to do. I want to make sure that this conversation is continuing. I want to make sure that it's a two-way communication. I want to make sure that every single time I make a decision, I know exactly how students feel about it. And that's why I'm excited about things such as open office community hours. I'm excited about just going out into all these communities. I'm excited about first-year residents town halls with in collaboration with residents councils, and I'm excited to start empowering our leaders a bit more. I think we don't talk enough about how we can continue to push the USC to be a better organization in and of itself. And one idea that I'm really excited about is interfaculty roundtable discussions. There's something that happens, but they don't happen enough, and there's just not enough good tangible next steps taking away from it. So I want to make sure that our leaders are being equipped with the ability to share ideas and say, this is what's working, this is what's not working, how can I continue to fix this, and how can I continue to push. So thank you again for having me on the air, and have a good day.
I would also like to thank David and Ryan for hosting us today on the forum. It was an awesome talk. It was really, really great. Thank you so much. It's really great to get these opportunities to get the student voice heard, because, we see right now that the student voice is not being heard. It's not being properly represented, and nothing is getting done. It seems like year after year, students are voicing their concerns. We're listening, but we're doing nothing about it. And that's where things are going to change, right? We really want to make sure that with me and Harry, with our experience, actually knowing how to get the job done is crucial here. Students have waited long enough. They're tired of waiting. They want to see action. And me and Harry promise you that. With our platform, we have heavily researched it, okay? We promise you that we did the work, so we know if we get the opportunity to get these positions, we're ready to work for you, okay? It's not us, it's not, we are the boss. You are the boss. We are working for you, and you will able to hold us accountable, making sure that we're getting everything done that you want. Some big things that we really want to do, and we're hearing your voice, we're not just hearing it, we're actually doing something about it. For example, we heard you want healthier food options on this campus. We heard that the lines in the UCC to get food are ridiculously long. So what did we do? We didn't just sit on it. We just put out an idea. We actually followed through. We made some contacts, and we actually are in conversation right now with Freshie to get one right in the UCC for you. Another big thing, mental health is huge. We talked about that today. Homecoming, getting strong-armed by administration. It's time the power gets back to the students. It is time you have leaders who are ready to fight for you and make sure that we are actually getting things done, not just talk, action. On behalf of Harry, he's not here today. It's crazy. I'm usually with him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week now. But on behalf of me and Harry, please, if you have any questions or concerns, talk to us. We want to hear your voice, and we promise you there will be change.
One of the things I want to mention today is the fact that it is just David and Toby on it. I did extend the opportunity to Anushe, and she was unfortunately unable to attend. We will be giving the opportunity to have the 2 minutes times 2 to talk about the issues that were brought up today, but she didn't get to engage in the conversation. So I just want to let everybody know that the offer was extended to her, but she was unable to attend.